In this story, you're about to witness a courtroom showdown that captured national attention. What started as a routine hearing turned into a masterclass in strategy, calm authority, and legal precision. Watch as Jasmine Crockett faces one of the most intimidating figures in American law, navigates high-pressure questions, and transforms a potential confrontation into a powerful display of leadership. Stay tuned, because this is not just political drama, it's a lesson in preparation, credibility, and the true meaning of composure under scrutiny. The courtroom was filled with a quiet intensity, the kind that only emerges when two powerful figures are about to collide. On one side, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, known for her sharp legal mind, meticulous preparation, and composed demeanor. On the other, Justice Clarence Thomas, a figure whose presence commands attention and respect in any legal setting. What was expected to be a standard hearing on a complex matter of law quickly escalated into a confrontation that would captivate observers nationwide. The tension began almost immediately. As the proceedings unfolded, Thomas raised questions that seemed routine, but a subtle shift in tone suggested a more confrontational undertone. Crockett, aware of the potential implications, maintained her composure. Her gaze was steady, her posture deliberate, signaling to the courtroom and to everyone watching that she was ready for anything. The exchange turned sharply when Thomas made a provocative statement implying that Crockett had overstepped her authority during her line of questioning. His words were measured but carried an unmistakable edge, a suggestion that her conduct bordered on defiance. The courtroom shifted, chairs creaked as attendees leaned in, and cameras captured every reaction. For a brief moment, the air seemed heavy with anticipation. Would Crockett retreat under the pressure of one of the highest-ranking justices, or would she assert her position confidently? Crockett's response was immediate, but never hasty. She spoke with clarity and authority, referencing both precedent and procedure. "Justice Thomas," she began, "my questions are guided by the law, the rules of this hearing, and the responsibilities of this committee. Everything I ask is in service of transparency and accountability, not personal confrontation." Her words resonated through the chamber, a calm yet unmistakable assertion of her role and responsibilities. Observers noted the precision of her approach. Where many might have reacted defensively or allowed intimidation to sway them, Crockett maintained focus, framing the conversation around law, evidence, and the integrity of the process. Every statement reinforced her expertise and demonstrated that preparation and strategic thinking could hold their ground even against the most formidable opposition. Thomas, known for his formidable courtroom presence, paused. His attempt to assert dominance had been met with measured authority rather than deference or concession. The subtle power shift was evident. Crockett's calm command redirected the attention of the room, making it clear that any attempt to intimidate would be ineffective. Media analysts later described this as a rare moment where a congresswoman held her own against a Supreme Court justice in a high-stakes, highly scrutinized setting. The courtroom fell silent for several seconds, a pause pregnant with tension. Every observer, from reporters to legal aides, sensed the significance. Crockett's measured approach had created a space in which the dialogue could continue productively, focusing on legal issues rather than personalities. Her ability to navigate the confrontation with composure highlighted not only her legal expertise, but also her understanding of public perception and strategy. As the questioning continued, Crockett cited specific examples and legal statutes, demonstrating both depth of knowledge and strategic awareness. She referenced case law and procedural rules with clarity, ensuring that every point she made was anchored in verifiable fact. "These precedents guide the committee's responsibilities," she explained, "and they ensure that accountability is maintained at every level." Her delivery was calm, precise, and commanding, qualities that would soon dominate media coverage and social media discussion. Outside the immediate exchange, Political and legal observers began to take note. Analysts discussed how Crockett's approach transformed what could have been a moment of tension into a demonstration of leadership, expertise, and strategic communication. Social media clips of her calm rebuttal were already circulating, drawing praise for her ability to handle pressure, maintain credibility, and assert authority without aggression. Within the courtroom, Thomas attempted to maintain his composure, but the momentum had subtly shifted. Crockett's strategic use of law, logic, and measured authority had placed her in a position of control. Her questions, guided by procedure and evidence, framed the discussion in terms of accountability rather than personality clashes, reinforcing the broader importance of transparency in government oversight. By the end of the first session, it was clear that this confrontation would not be forgotten quickly. Crockett had demonstrated the power of preparation, the importance of calm authority, and the impact of strategic communication in high-pressure situations. Observers left the chamber with a new appreciation for the delicate balance of power, the significance of legal knowledge, and the ability to navigate complex, high-stakes political encounters without sacrificing credibility or composure. The first part of this exchange set the tone for what would become a nationwide conversation. Crockett's performance highlighted essential lessons in leadership, strategy, and accountability, a prelude to the viral attention and analysis that would dominate news cycles in the following days. The day after the hearing, the political world was still in shock. Video clips of Jasmine Crockett standing her ground against Justice Clarence Thomas circulated rapidly across news networks, social media platforms, and political blogs. Analysts debated the significance of the exchange, emphasizing how Crockett's calm demeanor, precise legal knowledge, and strategic communication had shifted the narrative in her favor inside her congressional office. Crockett reviewed the media coverage with her team. "Look at this, Tessa," her communications director said, pointing to trending posts and viral clips. "People are discussing not just the confrontation, but how you maintained composure and authority. They're analyzing your strategy, and it's resonating widely." Crockett nodded thoughtfully. "The attention is secondary. Our objective is to reinforce accountability and ensure the public understands the issues at hand." Across the political spectrum, reactions varied. Supporters praised her ability to stand up to a Supreme Court justice without appearing confrontational or dismissive. Commentators highlighted her expertise, preparation, and poise, framing the exchange as a lesson in leadership under pressure. Many noted that her calmness and strategic focus transformed a potentially volatile moment into an example of professionalism and effective communication. Meanwhile, critics attempted to frame her measured approach as evasive or overly cautious. But the viral nature of the footage made it clear that Crockett's performance had dominated public perception. Social media exploded with analysis of her responses, emphasizing her ability to simplify complex legal points and make them accessible to a wide audience. Memes, discussion threads, and commentary videos dissected each of her statements, demonstrating the broader impact of her approach on political discourse in the halls of Congress. Colleagues and aides quietly acknowledged the significance of the confrontation. Some Democratic members expressed admiration for Crockett's strategic acumen, noting that her performance highlighted a rare ability to control a high-pressure situation without losing focus or credibility. Even some Republicans recognized the difficulty of facing an opponent who combined legal expertise, tactical awareness, and exceptional composure. The courtroom itself became a subject of discussion. Observers noted the subtle power dynamics at play, while Justice Thomas attempted to assert authority. Crockett's preparation, precision, and measured responses had redirected the focus toward substance rather than spectacle. Analysts describe this as a rare case in which a younger Congresswoman effectively navigated the tension and dominated the public narrative, emphasizing the importance of skill, strategy, and confidence in high-stakes political interactions. The public reaction was equally notable. News outlets reported extensively on the viral moment, analyzing her legal arguments, delivery, and the context of the exchange. Political experts highlighted how her responses had reinforced the importance of procedure, transparency, and accountability, turning a tense confrontation into a teachable moment for citizens about the role of Congress, the judiciary, and civic engagement within her team. Crockett and her aides focused on the strategic implications. "This is more than just a viral clip," Tessa remarked. "It sets a precedent for how future hearings can be conducted, and how we can leverage expertise and composure to control the narrative." Crockett agreed, adding, "We must ensure the conversation stays on the issues law, accountability, and public interest rather than devolving into spectacle." Across social media, viral clips emphasized her calm laughter and precise phrasing. Analysts observed that the attempt to challenge her had inadvertently amplified her authority, where some might have interpreted the justice's provocative approach as intimidating. Crockett's measured response highlighted the effectiveness of preparation, knowledge, and self-assurance in shaping public perception. Political commentators also noted the educational aspect of the exchange. By framing her questions and responses around constitutional principles, procedural integrity, and accountability, Crockett provided a civic lesson that resonated with viewers unfamiliar with the complexities of legislative oversight. Her ability to break down legal intricacies into clear, understandable points made the moment impactful, not just for political insiders, but for the general public. By evening, the story had permeated every corner of political discussion. Analysts on television panels, podcasts, and digital media emphasized the strategic brilliance of Crockett's approach. Her calm, authoritative, and fact-based responses were now being cited as examples of effective leadership under pressure. Observers agreed that this viral exchange was more than a momentary spectacle. It was a masterclass in preparation, composure, and the ability to influence public perception while upholding legal and ethical standards. The day closed with Crockett reflecting on the significance of the viral moment. "What matters is not the attention, but ensuring that the focus remains on accountability, transparency, and the integrity of our institutions," she told her team. Her statement underscored a central principle. Leadership is measured not by viral moments or emotional reactions, but by clarity, knowledge, and the ability to maintain authority under scrutiny. By the end of Part 2, it was evident that this confrontation was not just a fleeting viral moment. It had ignited a national conversation about strategy, authority, and the power of calm, informed responses in high-stakes political environments. Crockett's performance had set the stage for the broader narrative that would dominate media coverage and public discussion in the days to follow. By the next morning, Jasmine Crockett's confrontation with Justice Clarence Thomas had become the talk of the nation. Social media feeds were flooded with clips from the hearing, and news outlets dissected every nuance of her responses. Analysts across political shows, podcasts, and online platforms praised her composure, legal expertise, and strategic communication, calling the exchange a masterclass in maintaining authority. Under pressure, Crockett's team tracked the viral spread with a mix of pride and analytical curiosity. Communications Director Tessa pointed out, "The engagement numbers are unprecedented. People are sharing your calm, precise approach, not just the confrontation itself. It's a case study in strategy." Crockett nodded, emphasizing that while attention was inevitable, her priority remained on highlighting the legal issues at stake. "We need the conversation to stay focused on accountability, law, and transparency, not theatrics." Across political circles, reactions varied, but the consensus was clear. Crockett had handled herself exceptionally. Supporters praised her for turning what could have been an intimidating exchange into an opportunity to demonstrate expertise and professionalism. Commentators highlighted her ability to stay composed, answer complex questions with clarity, and redirect attention toward meaningful policy discussion rather than personal confrontation, even among critics. There was grudging acknowledgement of her skill. Many who initially intended to downplay the incident had to concede that Crockett's calm authority made the viral moment inescapable. Analysts observed that her laughter and measured responses had reframed the exchange, turning an attempt at provocation into a display of competence and leadership. Social media hashtags celebrated her strategy, while discussion threads analyzed her legal reasoning and how she maintained control of the narrative without raising her voice. Inside the halls of Congress, colleagues discussed the significance of the hearing. Fellow Democrats recognized that Crockett's performance elevated her influence, showcasing how preparation and expertise can shape public perception. Even some Republicans noted the difficulty of engaging with someone who combined precise legal knowledge, strategic awareness, and unshakable composure. It became a reference point for how political actors could navigate high-pressure situations effectively. Media outlets dissected the hearing minute by minute. Headlines highlighted Crockett's .com authority and her ability to maintain focus on the issues. Crockett's .com mastery over Thomas's challenge and how strategy, not spectacle, won the day in courtroom clash. Analysts praised her legal grounding, noting that she had shifted attention from personal jabs to substantive discussion. Emphasizing accountability and procedure, public engagement was equally remarkable. Viewers across the country were not only entertained, but educated. Crockett's ability to translate complex legal principles into clear, digestible explanations helped citizens understand the importance of oversight, constitutional law, and procedural integrity. Civic organizations used the exchange as a teaching moment, demonstrating how preparation and calm reasoning can influence outcomes and public understanding. The incident also sparked debate about political leadership and communication. Analysts emphasized that the viral moment showcased a generational shift. Younger lawmakers like Crockett could leverage preparation, poise, and strategy to effectively counter attempts at intimidation or provocation. Her approach demonstrated that leadership is not about loud declarations or personal attacks, but about control of the narrative, adherence to principle, and calm, authoritative presentation, even within Thomas' circle. There was acknowledgement that the attempted challenge had not gone as intended. Crockett's measured response, anchored in law and procedure, neutralized the confrontation, demonstrating the effectiveness of preparation and expertise over theatrics. Legal commentators later described the exchange as an example of how knowledge, calmness, and strategic communication can dominate high-stakes political interactions by the evening. The viral coverage had solidified Crockett's influence. Her calm authority and clarity were being cited in op-eds, political analysis programs, and online commentary. Analysts emphasized that her performance wasn't just a viral moment, it was a case study in leadership under scrutiny, a lesson in credibility, and a blueprint for effectively managing pressure in political environments. Ultimately, Crockett's handling of the confrontation proved a critical lesson in modern political communication. Viral moments are shaped not by theatrics, but by substance, strategy, and composure. She had transformed an attempted provocation into a demonstration of authority, reinforcing that preparation, knowledge, and measured responses can have a lasting impact on public perception and political discourse. By the close of Part 3, it was clear that this confrontation would be remembered not only for the viral clips, but for the example it set in leadership, preparation, and influence. Crockett had successfully turned a potentially tense moment into a national lesson in strategic communication, authority, and credibility. By the next week, the confrontation between Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett and Justice Clarence Thomas had solidified into one of the most discussed political moments of the year. Media outlets, political commentators, and social media platforms dissected every second of the hearing. from her measured tone to her precise legal reasoning. Crockett had turned what might have been a routine exchange into a defining example of leadership, strategy, and composure under scrutiny in Congress. Colleagues reflected on the broader significance. Democratic lawmakers praised her ability to assert authority without confrontation, noting that her strategy emphasized facts, procedure, and accountability over spectacle. Fellow Republicans, while not publicly praising her, quietly recognized the skill required to navigate the situation effectively. Crockett had demonstrated that expertise, preparation, and calmness could dominate even the most intimidating settings. For the public, the viral footage became an educational moment. Viewers commented on her ability to break down complex legal issues into understandable points, allowing everyday citizens to follow along and grasp the significance of procedural rules, accountability, and oversight. Civic groups highlighted the exchange in workshops and seminars, using it to teach how calm, reasoning, and preparation can influence both perception and outcome. Across social media, the moment sparked conversations about modern political leadership. Crockett's performance illustrated that influence is not about raising one's voice or performing theatrically. It is rooted in knowledge, composure, and strategic communication. Her calm laughter, precise phrasing, and authoritative references to legal standards became emblematic of effective political engagement. Analysts called it a blueprint for leadership under pressure, emphasizing that true authority stems from preparation, understanding, and confidence rather than spectacle within the media. Analysis went deeper. Experts dissected her use of legal knowledge, her framing of questions, and her ability to pivot back to substantive issues when faced with provocation. The coverage emphasized that Crockett's responses were carefully calculated to maintain credibility while redirecting the conversation toward accountability and public interest. It was a demonstration of strategic communication in its most impactful form. Even within Justice Thomas' circle, there was acknowledgement that the attempt to intimidate had not achieved its goal. Crockett had effectively neutralized the challenge, using measured responses and factual arguments to assert authority and maintain control of the discussion. This underscored a broader lesson in political and legal arenas. Preparation, composure, and mastery of subject matter can outweigh rank or position. As the story continued to unfold online, political commentators debated the implications. Some saw it as a moment that elevated Crockett's national profile, demonstrating how strategic thinking and calm authority can transform high-pressure confrontations into opportunities for influence. Others highlighted the lesson it offered to lawmakers, legal professionals, and the public. Maintaining credibility and focusing on substantive siege issues is far more powerful than reacting impulsively or emotionally. Crockett herself reflected on the moment with measured perspective. Our focus must always be on accountability, transparency, and ensuring that the public understands the stakes, she told reporters. The attention and viral nature of this exchange are secondary to the responsibility we hold to uphold the integrity of the process. Her words reinforce that leadership is defined by intention, strategy, and principled engagement rather than fleeting viral moments. The aftermath extended beyond politics. Law schools, civics educators, and professional organizations cited the exchange as a case study in preparation, communication, and ethical authority. Crockett's performance provided a practical demonstration of how to remain unshakable in the face of confrontation, highlighting the broader value of preparation, clarity, and calm under scrutiny. By the end of Part 4, the full narrative was clear. Crockett's handling of the confrontation with Justice Thomas had transformed a potentially tense courtroom moment into a nationwide lesson in strategy, leadership, and credibility. The exchange became emblematic of how preparation, composure, and factual authority can shape public perception, influence discourse, and set benchmarks for effective political communication. In retrospect, the hearing illustrated several essential truths. Knowledge commands respect. Preparation determines influence, and composure under pressure defines leadership. Jasmine Crockett had demonstrated all of these qualities, leaving an indelible mark on both public perception and political analysis. The viral moment, initially sparked by an attempted challenge, ended as a testament to strategy, calm authority, and mastery of subject matter. Crockett's performance reinforced that leadership, credibility, and influence are built not on reactionary emotion, but on careful preparation, clear communication, and unwavering composure. The story concluded with a lasting impact. Observers, educators, political strategists, and citizens alike recognized that the hearing was not just a single viral clip, but a masterclass in leadership under scrutiny, a moment that would be analyzed, referenced, and remembered for years to come.